happens in Uganda too, but you don't see it as much.
Okay.
There's a very big lack of trust, especially in Uganda.
It was giving me flashbacks of the hyper-policing in the U.S. because there was definitely hyper-policing of that area.
In Kampala, yes, they come to you. Yes, yes. What I see in Nairobi, especially in the content creation business, it's so collaborative here. In Uganda, it's hospitable and it's nice, but it is not collaborative. Why are Ugandans going to Kenya? Because there's more meritocracy. If a person is good, people want to work with you. If you're good in Uganda, it's good that you're good. What's good, Uganda? I'm here in Nairobi, Kenya with another episode of the Repad Podcast. I come out here about once a year. I want to see what's going on with the diaspora, in particular what's going on in the African-American community. And I have a very, very, very insightful guest. I'm going to let her explain who she is.
Hey, everybody. I'm Toddre Delora Moignet. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I've been living in Nairobi for 4 years. I was in Kampala, Uganda for 2, and Zanzibar, Tanzania for 1 year. I'm so happy to be here.
I am so happy. West Side, West Coast.
West
we
Side.
Taking over Africa.
Hey, West Side.
All of y'all from Philly, you from New York City, you from DC, Baltimore. We see you at Atlanta. Yeah, but we coming though.
It's too many of y'all here. We need more West Coast.
Don't make me throw it up. Don't make me throw it up. Anyways, so you know I'm petty, but thank you so much. You're a very, very wonderful guest. I met you at the Nexus, right? Nexus?
Yes, Nexus networking event.
Okay, Nexus. And shout out, who are the organizers?
T. I just know T, and there's an Eritrean sister from the UK that moved here too.
Wonderful event. I got a chance to meet you there. And I actually saw at least a video of yours before. Now I didn't watch all of it, but I was like, okay, now I remember Black to Africa. There's somebody told me about you.
People
briefly.
have been saying that I need to get together with you. We need to collaborate.
Who said that?
Just people in my comments. And I'm like, oh, I don't know, because you wild. I'm like,
Yeah, I am off of that. I am off that white or brown liquor quite often. So they didn't lie. And you know I'm crazy because camera.
I'm learning.
I'm down bad. But I'm trying to convince her to like join us on the podcast if I move here.
Do not let his craziness confuse you. He's very smart. He's very strategic. Okay, continue.
Very dusty. So you lived in Uganda and I didn't know you were there. We're both there during lockdown.
That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I've taken a lot of criticism because, you know, I have a work permit in Uganda. I love Uganda a whole lot. And when people tell me, where should I move to? I always tell them, go to Kenya over Uganda.
Wow.
And so I've taken a lot of criticism for that.
Okay.
And you're a person, shout out to Zaria. Zaria works for Uganda, also has this brand. I didn't know that you knew Lincoln.
Yes.
Okay, so you were actually really deep in Kampala because you told me some things only a person would know that lived there.
Okay.
So let's kind of get into what brought you to Kampala.
Wow. Okay. So I can't talk about Kampala without talking about Zanzibar.
Okay.
Right. So I was working in California. I was doing online styling for basically it was a company that
you need to style me. You know I'm down bad. I'm gonna tell the truth.
I've been trying to help you out. You've been talking about the booty shorts. Anyway, we're gonna get you together.
She tried to have me in them Diddy shorts family. I'm not.
No, listen.
Tried to have my cheeks out there. I couldn't. But anyways, go ahead.
So I was working in Santa Monica. Okay. And ultimately, the short story is I got laid off.
Okay.
I had been to Zanzibar the year before for my birthday.
Okay.
Loved it.
Okay.
Was trying to get back, make it my lifestyle.
Right.
When I got that golden ticket,
hello,
you know, when I got laid off, I took that opportunity to move to Zanzibar.
Okay.
Zanzibar is supposed to be my forever home. And ultimately, it just wasn't for me. Like, Zanzibar is for Muslims. You know what I mean? And people who are Orthodox Muslim. Right, they practice a very traditional form of Islam. I had no problem being respectful. It was just there were sometimes I just wanted to wear regular clothes. You know, there was just sometimes where I just wanted to be freer. So anyway, I ended up going to Kampala just for a break, and I really liked it. For me, the best thing about Uganda is Ugandans. And you could go anywhere in Uganda and they're just, oh, you here by yourself? Come sit with us. Come drink with us. Come eat with us. You know, it was very welcoming. And then I could wear the things that I like to wear. I could be more of myself. It was immediate that I began to build a social circle. So I was also trying to produce a web series called Off the Beaten Path. It was about fashion and international travel. In Zanzibar, it was just, I didn't think that far ahead. How to get off the island to shoot this thing, a whole day. You know, I was living in a small fishing village. So in Kampala, I met Simone Atuha. He was like, listen, I believe in your vision. And he was like, I will support you. So I came to Kampala just on some, I'm going to shoot this thing and in 2 months, I'm going to be gone.
Okay.
But I fell in love with the place.
What made you love Kampala?
Man, it was the people. The people was number one. And just like, it's like a sensory delicacy. There's so much to see and do. And one of the things that I would love doing in Kampala is getting on a boat and just riding through the city.
Yes.
And just looking at everything and everyone. The other thing that I love about Ugandans, particularly Kampalanites, can I call them Kampalanites?
Yes.
They love to dress. They love to dress. Even if you have a little, the way people will put their stuff together, it just lights me up. I love the fact that there is just so much color. And the food is good too. I love luombo.
Oh, yeah. Beef or chicken?
Groundnut. I prefer the groundnut with the, I'll say beef.
Okay.
I'll say beef.
Okay. What about that matoke?
Matoke is okay, right? But I don't really fool with bananas like that.
See that matoke with that G-nut sauce? It do be hitting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, the matoke doesn't really taste like banana. It's more like a savory. Yeah.
Kind of got a little bit of, not sour, but.
For me, it reminds me of like a mashed potato.
Mashed potato,
consistency. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar, but not equal, definitely. Similar, not equal. Okay.
It's a vibrant city.
Vibrant.
It's a vibrant city. And for somebody that likes to party,
yes,
that's the place. Nairobi is number 2 when it comes to party. But, you know, Ugandans, it's next level.
Yes.
And people are more welcoming.
Yes.
I've heard people say like, oh, you know, that's just surface stuff. But I feel like you want to party, Uganda's the place to go.
Yes. And that Waragi lemon ginger.
You like the lemon ginger?
I mean, that Waragi, whatever. Like, shout out to Chaxi. He's on the Mike Chat podcast, and he came to visit us in January.
I like the pineapple.
Okay, yeah, pineapple coconut is pretty good.
Yeah.
He came on Friday. That Negro went straight to the club, and we went to the Ciroc brunch, which is now rest in peace Ciroc brunch. He partied all the way till Sunday.
Right.
And he said, if Kenyans were to party like this, they need cocaine. But Ugandans can just do it off of liquor.
Listen, I just be like, sit down. Like, you know, honestly, it's like people are afraid the boogeyman is going to get them in they sleep. Like, I went to a New Year's Eve. It was like a private New Year's Eve event. And the homie was like, bring some clothes because we're going to sleep overnight. And I was like, what?
What?
So anyway, I went to sleep. Soon as the clock struck 12, I went to sleep and I just kept waking up because there was noise outside.
Oh yeah.
The sun rose. People was just dragging bottles. Like they just wouldn't, they were like heroin addicts.
Right.
Where it was like they was leaning, but they wouldn't just go down. I'm like, damn, just go to sleep.
And even like, well, I'll get to that a little bit later. So what were some of your challenges that you had in Kampala?
I think the reason why I left is because I really wanted urban green spaces. Like I said, Kampala can be a lot. It can be like a sensory overload. And there are times where you just want to chill. You want to go to the park and there is no park to go to.
Right.
Right. So that's where Nairobi sold me. What would have been another challenge? Damn, you were there during the elections?
No internet.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Damn. That was wild.
Right.
And at the time I was staying in Bukoto, which it was right next to the Bobby Wine headquarters.
Right. Kamocha.
Yes. Yes. And it was giving me flashbacks of the hyper policing in the US because there was definitely hyper policing of that area. And then to have the elections, I remember talking to people and they were like, you know, we will disappoint him, talking about Museveni. We will disappoint him. Like they was and they was beating people at the polls apparently.
It had all that red on, right?
Yeah, a lot of people didn't vote. And then it was just like, why are you cutting off our internet?
Right.
When you turn it back on, we gonna have the same president we had before you turned it off.
Right.
You see, that was a challenge for me.
Okay. Did you ever, I know because you have this wonderful thing called the Nairobi's Guide. What is it called?
The Nairobi City Guide, and I have a fashion guide as well.
Okay. Did you ever create something like that for Kampala?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, okay. So I do fashion tours in Nairobi. I wanted to do fashion tours in Kampala, but for whatever reason, Airbnb experiences wasn't greenlit for Kampala. I don't know why they made that corporate decision, right? So I was low-key doing them in Kampala, but I felt like it was limited. Like the hot boutiques that sold really unique pieces, they wouldn't stay in business long, right? And so then it's like it's only a few places you can go. Where we win in Kampala is when we have things custom and bespoke made. But as far as like shopping off the rack, no, that you're right. That was a challenge.
And I was talking to you about like Acacia Mall. I don't know if we can put Acacia Mall and maybe Westgate Mall. And I noticed it when I went to Westgate Mall and I entered in. The similarities in the building, you could tell that both places were built by the same architect.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So Kenyans built Acacia Mall.
Okay.
But when you go into, it's just a testament of the two different cities. And remember, this Westgate Mall was built first and Acacia Mall was built after.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. When you go to Westgate Mall, Lacoste used to be there, but it's not there anymore. But Tommy Hilfiger is there. Samsonite is there. Clarkson English is there.
Converse.
Yes. None of those will be there in Uganda.
Right.
So the bowling alley is inside Westgate. There's a movie theater that's there, but just like the children's playpen.
Yeah.
And so what it told me, like, even at Yaya Center, you can get Cold Stone Creamery, something like that.
There's a movie theater at Westgate.
Yeah, there's a movie theater. Also, there's one in Acacia, but it just taught like, the banks are inside. In Acacia, the banks and forexes are outside.
Got you.
And it just talked about the differences of the two cities as far as income level.
Right.
And so I was like, wow, this is, when you go to the food court, you look at things, it's very, it's similar to America. And the food court upstairs in Acacia Mall is like, it's 3 dudes in the menu and an old ass yogurt stand. No offense, but it's just not there. And like you said, a lot of businesses just cannot stay open. Like, you ever been to Blankets and Wines?
Yeah.
Okay, so Blankets and Wines was in Uganda for many years. It's from here.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I did Blankets and Wine in UG.
Yes, it was lit.
Jadena was there.
It's no longer there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Blankets and Wines is a Kenyan thing.
Okay.
But that was, allowed to be in Uganda. It was there for like 12 years.
Okay.
It's no longer there. Jameson Hangout, which is very popular amongst the young crowd, Gen Z. It's no longer there. Ciroc Brunch, it's like events are closing down here. But in Uganda, I saw the Caribbean Brunch. I'm like, Caribbean, bro, what's that? It's here. These things are developing while things in Uganda are becoming limited. Oh. Did you notice that things are just dying off?
Well, I haven't been back to UG in a minute. I went back for a wedding like 2 years ago, I want to say. And then we were mostly like on the western part of the country. Okay,
like Barara.
Yeah.
Okay.
But one of the things that I did notice when I started shopping in UG, like there's a Mac store in Acacia Mall. And there's also, I don't know if it's still there, an Adidas or Adidas store.
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay, so going into the Adidas store, the product assortment was just really old and it wasn't a lot. It wasn't fresh. And I opened one of the first Adidas performance stores, or the first performance Adidas store in the US.
Okay.
And I know how fly it can be. And when I saw the product assortment in Acacia, I was like, Then when I saw the price,
yeah, it was high.
Because, what we don't realize is duties, fees, customs, 3 times as much. I'm like, there's no way.
Right.
And then going into the Mac store, Mac makeup, I was like, yeah, no. But in a way is good because it forces you to support local businesses.
Okay.
Right. But unfortunately, at that time, there were no local businesses that was doing athletic wear.
Right.
In Uganda. So where you would get your athletic wear would be secondhand,
Okay.
right, on the side of the road. And I was a competitive track runner in college. So I still try to stay fit or whatever. So that was important to me, right? But athletic wear, having separate clothing just to exercise, that is a signifier of wealth.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So obviously Uganda is not as wealthy a country as Kenya.
Right.
And that's to be expected. Coming here to Kenya was a lot easier for me in a lot of ways. Again, the urban green spaces. Secondly, the proximity to the ocean. I had missed the ocean growing up in SoCal, missed the ocean. The ocean, Indian Ocean is like an hour away. And I'm so spoiled now because it's like bath water. You know, the Pacific Ocean is cold. It's cold and the water is dark. So I love it here. Like if I go someplace else, somebody else's ocean, I'll be comparing it to the Indian Ocean. Some people like to call it the African Ocean. And as far as like the athleisure, the athletic wear, there's just a lot more to choose from. Definitely not a diss to UG. Because what I loved about UG, coming from the fashion perspective, our Beyond's Fashion Style Awards, top tier.
A. Bryant's.
Top tier. Is it A. Bryant? You call it A. Bryant's?
I've been there before.
I enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
And then there was also Kampala Fashion Week. I don't know if they've come back since COVID.
They have not, but it was good. It was Wamala's daughter. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Again, A. Bryant is going. Fashion Award. I went to the last one.
Oh.
Yes. Fashion is going also.
The Kampala Fashion Week.
Kampala Fashion Week is going.
It's done. Okay, but I also feel like UG does very good at putting on events.
Very.
I think the event space is much better executed in UG
than Kenya. Really?
And, yes, I do. Luxury is in the details.
Good point.
And then also with the entrepreneurs, like I feel like UG is just like the country that could. Remember like that nursery story?
The little engine
the
that
little
could?
train that could. What was it? Little train that could?
Yeah, little engine.
The little engine that could. I feel like Uganda is like that because there are a lot of political constraints, economic constraints, but Ugandan entrepreneurs are like, that. We're going to be the best that we can be in our lane. We're going to do the best. And I feel like I've had much better services procured from Ugandan entrepreneurs than Kenyan.
Really?
If Kenyans want to come from me, please just like, literally just like step your game up.
Okay. You know out here now. So them Gen Zs is violent. Let's talk about like, because you did make the decision to move. Here's what I'm noticing. Because in Uganda, I like where I live. I don't live too far.
Where do you live? What neighborhood? You can just say the neighborhood.
I live by, okay, so I'll live close to there.
Okay, so you like where you live?
Yeah, but I noticed if you look at, let's say Nguru, Skies Hotel, I like Skies.
Okay.
Right? Kololo, and then Kololo goes into Bugalobi. Those are areas that are, if you're renting a house in US dollars, it could be $2,000-$3,000 a month, $1,000 a month, something, at least that.
Okay.
There is not a neighborhood in Nguru, Kololo, Bugalobi, Munyonyo that is anywhere close to Lavington. I hate to say this, potholes and all. If you get on the Boda and anywhere your Boda driver is doing like this amongst the potholes, it's worse now. When I come here, there's a difference even between the Carrefour Westgate and Carrefour Acacia. It's the price is cheaper because everything here is cheaper because the goods come from Kenya to Uganda. Okay. So it's cheaper in Kenya actually. To use the internet is cheaper. Okay. I mean, we have a few restaurants. You have Azumi in Kololo. There is another one.
Azumi's and it's pricey, right?
Yeah. But there's another one I want to say. There's kind of like a steakhouse. I forgot what it's called. You have a few good restaurants, but like none that are on the level of even Fogo de Chao. There's no restaurant in Kampala that's like that. No. Not even that one.
No.
Which one?
Disagree.
Which one is that? Tell me one that's better than that.
Okay.
I'm talking about service involved too.
Okay. I'm not going to hold you on that one because I'm a vegetarian. I've never eaten at Fogo de Chao, but I've looked in there. We've got some beautiful restaurants in Kampala, yes?
There is Molecule. I mean, they got some nice ones.
Okay.
But as far as the pricing, the luxury, like NT, right? This restaurant, I went there. 20 floors up, you go up and there's that experience is not available in Kampala. And then if you look at living costs, Lavington is better than any neighborhood in Kampala, hands down. Kilimani is better than any neighborhood in Kampala.
So what do we attribute that to? I mean, is it governance? Is it the income level of the people? Is it the tax level, right? Do they do a better job at collecting taxes in Kenya?
I don't know, but Kenya's never had a successful military coup. So Uganda had that period of instability for so long, for like 15 years.
Okay.
But I'm saying, like, if you're a foreigner, you don't really care about that, right? I think that you're paying a lot more for what you can get in Nairobi, like Lavington. You can spend, if you're a 2-bedroom, maybe $700 for it. In Kololo, that's $2,500. In Lavington, it's better.
I see what you're saying. So you're saying you can get more bang for your buck in the nicer areas in Nairobi than you can Kampala.
Nairobi is half the price.
That was one of the things that used to like blow me about Kampala. Because I was like, well, why is it so much for these so-called modern apartments, but then you don't really hardly have no amenities, and then you come out your house and it's goats and it's a dirt road and it's, you know,
cows, sometimes cows.
And it's like, okay,
cows.
There's nothing wrong with goats and cows, right? But then like, really, what am I paying for? You know what I mean? If you're gonna pay $1,200 USD per month,
right,
you are expecting something. I'm expecting a swimming pool. I'm expecting the gym. You know, and that's the thing that Nairobi is getting right, even though some of the construction is like,
it's noisy. But every gym in Nairobi, every apartment complex has a gym.
Pretty much.
Everyone. You will come out and see a cow, a dude with 20 cows. If you're somewhere in Bukoto, anywhere, and he'll be looking at you like, what are you looking at?
What are you looking at?
Looking at you like you're crazy.
Why is the real estate market like that in Eugene?
I don't understand, but this is no diss to Uganda, but when you come to Nairobi, you cannot find goats in Kileleshwa. There is no goats in Lavington. There's no goats in Kilimani. What goats? Cows. Not only goats, sheeps. Not only that, chickens. A nigger on the back of a boat with 30 chickens. Then sometimes he rack and then the chickens come out on the boat. Like, it's crazy.
Oh, I've never seen that.
And the bodas in Uganda are you cannot, like, for example, I'm walking down the street here. I can walk down the street without any motorcycle person saying something to me. In Kampala, yes, they come to you. Yes, yes. They don't say yes.
Oh my God.
40 times. If you go to Oryx or before you get there, you're walking. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
You'd be like this.
Basically, you trying to make a case for expats to move to Nairobi versus Kampala.
Yeah, don't do it. Let me just say this. Even if the one person sees you waving off somebody else, he would just, yes. Okay.
I haven't been to Uganda in a while. You live there.
Yes. I love Uganda. It'd be my second choice.
It'd be your second choice.
Yes.
Okay. What about Kigali?
No. I've been there.
Why?
No.
Too quiet?
I think the opportunity is probably there, but Uganda is, for me, Uganda is more lively.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. I need that.
You need that.
I'm never bored in Kampala for sure.
Right.
It's always something. Yeah. But if you're looking to, and it depends on what you're doing, but you need to have a lot of experience. And you're going to go through, like, you can't even walk one. And also, that's how walking. If you have Ascaris, security guards, storytime music, if you come in at like 12 o'clock, you will be honking your horn for 45 hours.
Sleep.
The security guard is drunk, have an attitude. You guys try to call him before.
How about I've climbed fences to get into my own place before? I have climbed a fence. I stayed in so many different places throughout Kampala. Like I stayed in Bugalobi, so many different places. But at one point I was staying at Ndere Cultural Center. Yes. Lord, I had to climb the fence a couple of nights to get back in.
What?
Jesus Christ.
Man, that's an athletic shit for your ass.
And I was staying, it was interesting because I was staying with this white American woman from Cali, from California in Bugalobi. She rented her room to me. And I thought that we would get along because she was from Cali, athlete. She had played basketball.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, she's familiar with the culture. We're going to get along. She treated me like shit. She treated me so bad, and she had like another white American woman that lived upstairs, and the way that she trusted her with the key but wouldn't trust me with the key, it was just a lot happening.
The white keep a hype.
Listen, so I ended up having to, I ended up leaving there early, and I had paid in advance, and then like security had to get involved because she didn't want to give me my money, and I was like, you don't give me my money, I'm not gonna give you your key. And then I realized like, yo, you have racial PTSD. And from that place, I moved into Ndere because Ndere has rooms.
Yes.
And I remember Ugandans telling me like, you're paying too much to stay here. You can get a full apartment for what you're paying here.
True.
But because I had trauma from that experience, I was like, I just want to be in my own little space. It's contained, you know? But anyway, Ndere is cool because you get the Ugandan flavor.
Yeah.
They do all the dances throughout the place, the music.
I love it.
I think
it's a good day for like Africa Day would be great in Ndere Cultural Center.
My personal opinion is that people should do investigative tours.
Yes.
My consultations are like between $150 and $350, depending on which package you select. If you feel like you don't have the money for that, then you probably shouldn't be coming.
Right.
But what I would say is invest in your relocation.
Please.
Repatriation, whatever you want to call it. And then I know everybody's on different budgets, but do an investigative tour.
Something.
You know, and then, because if you want a slower pace of life, I would say Kampala. We talk about is party, but people do move slower.
Yes.
But if you want the action and you need fast internet, then Nairobi would be the spot for you.
Cheaper everything, better everything, yes.
But check it out for yourself because my whole thing is like for those of us who are descendants of people who were stolen, you need to be somewhere where your central nervous system can relax.
There you go.
And everybody is going to have a different response depending on where they go and who you are. Like for instance, my homeboy who's from Philly, he lives in Lamu, Kenya, which is a small archipelago off the coast of Kenya. They often compare it to Zanzibar, even though they're different, but it's pretty much like the same people, Swahili, Persian, Indian, Arab influence, that type of thing. He loves it. They don't have no cars on the island. You keep coming to Nairobi. You need to, you know what I mean?
God is not through with me yet. He's still working with me.
It's very much Muslim, like Orthodox Muslim practice. My homegirl, Wamuhu, who I met in LA, she's Kenyan. She has a bar there, but it's like in the cut, like out by the dunes, right? They have like a floating bar because you really can't do a whole lot on the island. People get around by donkey and boats, right?
Donkey.
He loves it.
Okay. I gotta check that out.
He's bought land. Him and his woman, they all in love. They be posting all on IG. He's got an apartment.
What?
So me personally, it's not for me, but he feels whole there. You know, that's why I say do an investigative tour.
Okay. Also, like you live in Nairobi and you never came back to Kampala. What other opportunities do you feel have been afforded to you living in Nairobi that were not afforded to you in Kampala?
I mean, I'm going to keep going back to the urban green spaces. As a Cali girl, I need that. Like when you done partying and the novelty has wore off, what do? Like the other thing for me, you know, I'm a spiritual girly, you know, a kitchen witch. I be in the kitchen mixing up stuff, got my crystals and everything.
You do? Let me not say anything wrong to you then.
That juju.
Escucha las palabras de las brujas, los secretos escondidos en la noche. Jesus Christ.
No, I'm joking. But when I was trying to get into like a deeper spirituality practice, it was hard to come up on NUG because it's not out in the open. And I didn't know the right people to introduce me, right? In Kenya, it's commercialized for better or for worse. You know, like I'm doing like a floating sound bath in a couple of weeks where you're on these inflatable mattresses in an indoor pool on a rooftop, and then they're doing the sound bath. Like that doesn't really exist there. You know what I'm saying? Like you really have to know and seek it out, right? Like I did a sound bath in Kampala I was like literally in someone's house. The lady was from Dubai. You know, it was like,
right.
You gotta know, you gotta know, you gotta know.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other thing that, the restaurant scene? And like I said, the spiritual scene, like for the first time in my life, I've done plant medicine. Like a plant medicine ceremony. You know, ayahuasca is so popular in the US right now. So here we have like ayahuasca, we've got psilocybin. People are introducing peyote, iboga, which is indigenous to the soil, which is supposed to trump ayahuasca. Yeah.
I don't even know what that is, but I'm just
Yeah. It's a plant, it's a psychedelic plant designed, and it heals trauma.
Oh, I need that because I'm up. Okay, so those are your reasons, which are good. But let me just say, like, I went to the Nexus event.
Okay.
And again, I love Kampala. So I don't want y'all trying to confront me on these streets because I got these hands. I'm trying to tell you. But no, seriously. What I see in Nairobi, especially in the content creation business, which is what I'm more or less in.
Got you.
And just in business in general, it's so collaborative here. In Uganda, it's hospitable and it's nice, but it is not collaborative. That culture of collaboration and innovation, I think that people mistake being hospitable and having some level of humility for being collaborative.
Okay.
In Uganda, for me, it is not collaborative. In Kenya, it's less like hospitable and less humble, but more collaborative. When you're trying to do things, people want to work with you. Like if I were to do some things in Uganda, people want to be like paid for it, even if you're like bigger than them or whatever. That's just, but that culture is not in Kenya. Like people want to work with you because we like you. People don't like to reach out. Also in Uganda, people are not trying to like, not as much as it is in Kenya, because, you know, Kenya and Ivory Coast, they've been practicing some level of capitalism while other countries in Africa went the socialism route. So that, you know, hey, we have an opportunity. Let's seek it. Let's see what we bring together. It's really not there in Uganda. And when you're a foreigner, you need a country where locals are collaborative, and they already have that. That's why Kenya is that's why this place is really becoming what it is. And it makes it so easier to get ideas. You find even a lot of Ugandan creators like Raymond Kahuma, Christine Ampera, those podcasts are here. The opportunity it's not in Uganda because it's not like the talent isn't there, but it's not collaborative, and it makes it hard to do business when people, you know, don't know how to incentivize the other party to get somebody to do something for them. But Kenya is much better at that. Even working with the brands in Uganda, it is difficult. It's not a lot of honesty involved in it. But in Kenya, it's more accountability. I see accountability more here than in Uganda. And, you know, there's a more trust in the private sector here. Uganda doesn't have trust in its private sector. Nobody believes that anybody will do anything.
Damn.
So when you're trying to do something with somebody, person could, you know, okay, yeah, we can do that. And then they're suspicious towards you because they don't, you know.
How long have you been in UG?
Too long. Off and on. This is my second work permit that I have now, but I've been in Uganda since 2018, 2025.
Okay. I mean, you definitely know UG better than I do. And when I was in UG, I wasn't working. You know what I'm saying? So I had like a couple of situations where a fashion brand asked me to assist in styling their lookbook. And then I did like some customer service training for Bold Africa, my favorite store in Kampala.
Bold. I've seen that before. It's right across the street from Keisha Mall, right? In Kisamente.
Yeah. She has like designers from all over Africa. So I did some customer service training for her staff. But I wasn't making my money from UG. So you have more insight there. But, you know, my homie, he's my friend now. He worked for me for free, like as a videographer, because he believed in my vision. And eventually the show Off the Beaten Path did get picked up. But that streaming money,
Zero. You can't find people like that in Uganda. It's possible, but the culture is not collaborative.
Okay.
It's not collaborative.
Okay.
Like you can step into Kenya and right away, whatever you're doing, it's like my Pan-African dating show.
People here see opportunity.
That's what I'm saying.
They see money and they're moving on a different frequency.
Yes,
right?
That's what I mean.
So like you could go to a place like Tanzania. I think Tanzania might even be
down
like
bad. They're worse than Uganda, I think.
A slower frequency than UG.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? But My homegirl from Brooklyn, she is in Arusha. She's doing mindfulness work in Arusha,
What's her name?
Tanzania. Her name is Malaika Angel. She goes by different names. Ifashewa. I featured her early on.
Is she light skinned?
She is.
With the nose ring? Kind of heavy set a little bit?
No,
okay.
she's petite.
Oh, okay.
She looks kind of like, well, we'll just say like from the Horn of Africa. She kind of looks like she's from the Horn of Africa.
Okay.
But she loves it in this small village right outside of Arusha town. But when she comes to visit me, first thing she does, she puts down her backpack and she goes right down to the CBD. Because for her, it reminds her of Brooklyn. It reminds her of New York. You know? I think different things for different people. But I will tell you, when I came to Kenya, I did not go back to UG because I didn't even go back to pack my stuff.
You just left all your shit there?
No, I sent for it. I sent for it because like, y'all laughing. Low key, I had been like traveling around trying to see like where I could fit. And after UG, I was planning on going to Kigali. We all know about Kigali. So then I came here and I knew someone and she showed me her Nairobi. So we were doing yoga and Karura Forest and she took me to her favorite restaurants and all of this. Because I had been to Nairobi before, but I hadn't seen it through that lens. And when I was like, oh, and this was the tail end of COVID. And she was like, no, I would really like you to stay. Because COVID was rough on extroverts. Right. So she was like, I would just really like for you to stay. So I ended up staying for 2 months. And then I called my homegirl, who's Ugandan American. And I scheduled a packing company to pack my stuff. I asked my homegirl to supervise the move. They shipped my stuff to Kenya. Then I organized a shipment for the rest of my stuff from LA, from my dad's garage in California.
And have you been happy with your move here?
I think it's been the best decision I've made.
Ever?
One of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, to be real. Yeah.
Bye-bye, Kampala. I'm about to
because of everything that you said and then like everything that I need, you know. But then I had a guest who she's like a music manager. She's also from California. She's white American. She manages talent in Kampala. And she stayed with me one time. And most of her acts are based in Kenya. So I'm like, why aren't you in Kenya? And she speaks fluent Kiswahili. And she told me that she just likes the community that she has in Uganda and she prefers the people. So
me too, but even with this podcast, we have my Pan-African dating show. You didn't know about it. I showed it to you.
Wild.
It gets more support from Kenyans, even though it's filmed in Uganda.
With Ugandans.
Yes. So same thing with the Kinganda podcast. We have our third biggest city. Our fourth biggest city will be Nairobi. This episode will have way more support from Kenya than it will from the Ugandan fan base.
What are your top 4 cities for that?
Like London, New York City, then like Los Angeles, and then you'll see, depends on the episode, but usually it's those 3 and then Nairobi.
Wow.
Yeah, so Kenyans, like, I hardly get recognized in Kampala for the Kinganda podcast every now and then.
Okay.
But here, on one street.
That's so interesting because I first found out about you in Kenya.
Really?
Like, it's crazy that we were living in the same city, African Americans, and we just never met, you know? But I will say that one of the things that I really liked about being here was there was a built-in community. I'm very big on like integrating, learning the culture, all of that. However, you know, when you have a built-in community, it makes it easier to integrate. Like the same questions always come up in these WhatsApp groups. You know, where can I go to get my hair done? Where can I go to find a good plumber? Does anybody have a vacation house somewhere? Where can I go to get kale? You know, like these types of things. And because there were 2 Black expat groups here already, it just made it easier for me to move. I don't recommend that people stay there, right? Because it could be like a microcosm of your high school experience. You know what I'm saying? But then once where you get in, where you fit in, then for me, I was just like, let me just.
Right. And then in Kampala, like, we have a small one, but it's not open yet to the public. There's a lot of opportunity that could be in Uganda for a lot of different things. Cause like 50 million people there. I mean, it's definitely a great country. I'll always be in Uganda somehow, you know, probably for the rest of my life.
Wow.
But,
okay.
yeah, I mean, my situation, IKEA was like, when I talked to her the other day, she actually I think, was it you told me or she told me on the phone that she had met you 2 days ago?
From Traverse. I love her. I literally just met her and fell in love with her.
So she was like, when are you moving to Nairobi? So I said, well, my situation is pretty good in Kampala. So, and it is. I mean, I got it set up how I would like.
Yes.
But I would be a fool to tell you that it's not good here. And the opportunity for what I do and what anybody else could do throughout this country. Let's talk about going from like here to Arua, Kampala to Arua. I went to Arua, which is on the Congolese, close to the South Sudanese border one way and Congolese border the other way.
Okay.
Arua used to be a part of the Congo.
Okay.
It'd take you like 14 hours, depending, 9 or 10 hours.
To drive. Okay.
You cannot fly from Kampala to Arua. It would cost you it's cheaper to go to Dubai.
That's what I hate.
So, but here you have Jambo Jet. Here you have Kenyan Airways. To get to one part of the country, it's easy. The railways, right? The railroad. But my buddy Raymond is doing a good a video. I don't want to discuss what it is, but you know, airlines, right? It's going to come out sometime soon.
I hope so.
And you couldn't do that. Like, and the airways are willing to work with you. It is hard to work with anybody like that in Uganda. It is difficult. There is more meritocracy also in Kenya. If you are good in Kenya, you can do well.
Okay.
If you're good in Uganda, okay, good that you're doing good. Nobody will reach out to you for real.
Damn.
And if you guys think that I'm lying, people come in the comments section. Why are Ugandans going to Kenya? Because there's more meritocracy. If a person is good, people want to work with you. If you're good in Uganda, that's good that you're good. But our person is here. When you look at that and you look at the connectivity to go to Barara, to go to Arua, to go to Mbale, it's an all-day thing. Here it's not like that.
That's what I tell people. I tell Kenyans specifically, Kenya gonna have some roads. I mean, Kampala is exciting and all that, but one of the things I was like, why is it like this? Because once you get off the main road, you just make a right or a left. It's a dirt road. It's, you know, I'm like, why is it like this? But you know what I want to touch on? O'Shea? Black Americans working together. I want to touch on that because you talk about networking. We went to this Nexus event where I saw you. Like I recognized you. I walked up to you. We had a brief conversation.
Was I drunk?
No, not yet, because we had just started.
Okay.
I think you were just trying to get something to eat.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've traveled around the world, and I was actually in a relationship with an Italian guy in Spain. And then he moved to the US. What I saw him do everywhere he lived was lock in with the Italian community and get work. He was a chef. And I remember being in Spain and trying to lock in with the American community. There weren't no Black Americans. To get work, I was just like on a whim, just living my life. And people were not offering, people weren't willing to network, weren't willing to collaborate. One thing that I want to see for us is the ability to get off a plane anywhere and lock in with your tribe and build out whatever it is that you're building. That's what I want to see. You know, like I know people here who have virtual assistants, you know, in various parts of the world. But then you've got someone here who's African-American, who's a virtual assistant. Did you reach out to that person? Did you ask them? You know, not everybody is coming here with a bag. Everybody has a contract. People are figuring it out. I worked as a stylist in the US. I couldn't work as a stylist in Zanzibar. I had to figure it out. That's how I got into writing. But anyway, that is what I want to see of us. And this is why I appreciate you. Like you had me on. I don't have a huge following, right? Like people told you about me, but maybe you had never even seen me before. That you've supported my business by buying one of my products.
I'm about to buy another one too.
Thank you. What we're doing, I want to see more of that. And while we're doing that, just not being exclusive, also getting to know the different cultures. Like you seem like you know the different cultures in Uganda. You work with different people. Your staff is both Kenyan and Ugandan. Like, it's dope. Thank
you so much. And I'm gonna, before I forget about this, I want to get back to that real quick so I know you got somewhere to go. But the Uber in Nairobi, stop laughing.
Stop.
You press the button. They are here outside of the apartment in Nairobi. But in Uganda,
Wool up, just wool up.
What are you?
Mama.
Only what? What? So you tell me, okay, do you know the road? Yes. Do you know? Yes.
Wait.
I will follow the Google Maps. I will be there. The guy calls you. Where are you? I don't know where to go. I said, but didn't you say you know where? Shut up. Where are you going? What? You know, like, the guy is frustrated.
It's not for the weak.
When you talk about those dirt roads, and it's not their fault because even they don't know. So when you come here, anywhere in Kenya, it is so organized. You press the button. If I press Uber right now, the guy is there. If I press Uber in Kampala, the car is 12 minutes away. Safe Boda is your best option, and he's lost. You have to tell the guy, okay, you come down this road, the road will split into two. He'll be like, So when it splits into two, go there. Yes. Because you know Uganda is it. Yes. It's like Gargam. Yes. So now he will come. He will go the other road that you told him not to go down. Boss.
You know what you are? EP, aka enemy of progress.
No, I went down the road. But you're not picking. The road is not giving. You say, I told you not to go down the road. No, you said that. And the guy's arguing with accountability. So you tell the guy, I told you this road. Oh, yes. Aha. That is true. So you'll be there like 10, 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And then also, those cash. Do you have cash? No. I cancel. Happens here, right? So if you get around, it's easier in Kenya. It's their person is there.
Okay.
It's more organized.
But there's a reason. We have addresses and roads. Like the roads are named. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like Kampala, it's more like plot 42, this, that. It's okay. So I went to a tech summit in Kampala.
Tech summit?
It was like a tech summit, tech expo. They asked me to be on the panel, like women in business. Yeah, it was interesting.
Those are very popular in Kampala.
Okay. So there I met some really smart people that had created some innovative apps. Two guys, they had created an app that would give everyone in Uganda an address. They just needed funding. And back to my point, we need to fund our own but they just needed funding. So the reason why you have to give so many directions is because who knows the names of the roads outside of the main ones? Turn left at the green gate, go past the transformer.
Yes.
Like where I lived, I literally had to like walk up maybe 10 minutes to the main road for people to find me.
Damn.
Whereas Nairobi is a bit, but let's not sleep though, because if you live in a undesirable neighborhood, they don't want to take you. And again, they want to cancel if you're not paying with cash, right? But it is a lot easier for us who are living in these neighborhoods with these named streets. But what if you lived in Kibra or some other slum, or even Eastleigh? I buy my fabric in Eastleigh.
Where's Eastleigh?
I was told it used to be like a Somali an Indian neighborhood. Now it's like really Somali heavy. But I've had drivers oh no, you're going to Eastleigh. Oh no.
Oh, okay.
You have to pay extra.
Yeah.
Okay. But see, we over here on the west side, we don't really have to deal with that.
So let me just say this also with things like PayPal. PayPal doesn't work in Uganda, but
it don't work here either.
Well, it works for my Uber and my Uber Eats.
You paid with PayPal?
Yeah, girl.
Through that app.
Yes.
But I will tell you, so this is the other thing about launching a business. I know when you had your credit card situation, you're scared. You called your mom, which was interesting to me. You like immediately, mom, because she'll handle that for you stateside. I opened up a PayPal business account. I have a long-standing relationship with PayPal. I opened up the business account here. They shut it down. And I had money in that account. They shut it down. I had to get it back in a roundabout way, which made me look unprofessional. to my client.
Okay.
You know, I had to like give her a refund and then circle back and say, hey, can you pay me this other way? You know, but there's one of my vendors, she's a clothing maker. Somebody paid her through PayPal and she just had to eat that L.
Oh,
because
you
she
can't
couldn't get the money. She couldn't receive the money.
You see the money? I pay everybody through PayPal.
Do you pay through Zoom?
No. He has a PayPal account.
Well, good for you, but a lot of people run into problems.
You get him on the podcast. How you had a corrupt PayPal account. Don't worry, we don't give you a name. So Rudo will find your ass.
But no, it's easier. Like I was in Mozambique a couple of years ago. Forget about it.
Mozambique down bad, I think.
Forget about it. They don't even have their own commercial bank, from what I've been told by Mozambicans. So imagine all your money is going through to Portugal, then coming back to Mozambique. Like, just imagine how that works. And then how you and you're used to using, how do you pay? What's the name of that? Mobile money.
Yeah, mobile money in Uganda?
Yeah.
Yeah, MTN mobile money, Airtel mobile money.
I'm used to using M-Pesa.
Yeah, same thing.
Doesn't exist.
In Mozambique.
It does, but it's not really functional. You know what I'm saying?
Mozambique, is that down bad?
Jesus Christ.
First of all, they were independent from Portugal in the 70s.
Samora Machel, right? Is that no, that was after. He died after that. So, okay, 70s, yeah.
And then they had a civil war that lasted until the 80s.
So they still, okay. But I know.
Okay, but let's talk about this though. How it's a lot of people that want to come, but it's only but so many cities you can live in if you require access to Wi-Fi, fast Wi-Fi.
In Kenya?
In Africa.
Yes.
That's, like we have a digital nomad visa here. And my whole thing is I want to see my people self-actualize. I believe we can only do that here on the continent. So I'm like inviting people, come. But then everybody that I speak to in my consultations, they like, I need to be able to work remotely. You've got Nairobi, you've got Accra. If you have like solar and all of that generator. You've got Joburg, you've got Cape Town, Casablanca. Where else?
Well, Kampala too, if you're willing to pay, because I do everything from Kampala.
You do. Oh, you have the fiber situation.
Yeah. You need that. It's Zuku. I know you have Zuku's here. So.
I hate Zuku. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Everybody feel like that. Even he don't like it. So Kampala's up there. Kampala's getting a little bit better as far as that.
I never had the fiber though. I was always like using my phone. That's the difference. Here in Nairobi, I do have fiber. Yeah, I have fiber and I have like coaxial that's built into my house. Somebody wired it for me. This is a coaxial thick cables. So it goes from my internet connection right into my PC. So it's real fast. Wow.
So if y'all want that trick and you're gonna let me know, inbox me. I'll tell you about all that, player. But
is it a Ugandan company?
Yeah, it was just a guy that came in and installed it.
Wow.
And I paid like $1 million shillings and it makes everything so much faster.
What's $1 million shillings?
About $270.
Wow.
Our podcast, like all my uploads, I do it from Kampala.
Okay.
So, and this is a big file when we edit our podcast. So we do it with the cameras and 4K. I upload everything.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm not that down bad.
I mean, like,
there.
I haven't lived everywhere. I would love it if people would hop in the comments and just say like, yo, I live here and I have fast internet here, you know, because a lot of people are figuring it out. I have clients who like, they want to do everything from start a spice farm to continue their DEI training work remotely, or maybe they work in insurance or whatever it is. So, you know, there's a lot of people who need the internet, and then there's some people who's just like want to live off grid. Have you met those people? Yeah. Or do you?
I know one. Do you know King Obatunda?
No.
From Virginia. Yeah, he's African American. He's back in Virginia, but he was one of those off grid kind of people. Be in Kabale, Search for Uhuru is like that. You know, Dynast? Amir? Search for Uhuru YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the one. He's from Sacramento like me. Wow. But he has like a really big channel. And when he's in Africa, he does a lot of off grid things. Yeah. I'm not a off grid
kind of guy.
No.
I could do it for a little while.
I could do it for like a few hours.
Just a few hours. No, sometimes I do need to unplug from Nairobi. Like, it is a metropolis. But I am at the point in my life where I'm looking forward to that coastal vibe, fresh fruit, veggies. Just slow it down.
Okay, so anything else you want to tell us?
Okay, let me just be real for a minute. If you're watching because you're interested in the content, you're interested in Africa, and I want people who don't have much experience with it to try it, to come here and explore. Leave all that programming behind about poverty, etc. Just leave that behind and book a consultation with me, and we'll figure out how you can get over here and perhaps just do an investigative tour first. Keep an open mind. Africa does not need more charity. You know, that's one thing that people, I want to come here, I want to work with an orphanage. No, what we need is more access to capital. Yes. And also know that when you're coming to build a business, sometimes you have to build the supply chain yourself.
Yes.
Have you found that to be true?
Especially in Uganda. I love y'all though. Don't get mad.
Yeah, listen.
That's the truth. Y'all be mad, I know, but y'all see me on the streets. I'll buy you a drink of water. You'll be okay. You'll be all right. You'll be completely, or VNA, you'll be all right. So
we're gonna get you to come back and forth and just experience the best of both worlds.
I love Uganda. Okay. I'm never gonna fully leave.
Okay, so tell me what you love about it.
Oh, the people.
Okay.
The women, obviously. They're
blessed. Ugandan women are blessed, and the men too. Very.
There is a lot of, again, like, it's not as collaborative, but it's like people are very insightful. Like, I couldn't have Kinganda if people didn't want to help me. So people are very appreciative, you know, and then the culture of Uganda is stronger. I'm not gonna say it's stronger than what I've seen in Kenya, but like it's still very conservative and very traditional in many ways. And so you see like Kampala martyrs, you see people walking from like Arua all the way to Namungongo. And I remember I have a video in the back. I showed this to my mom. This was somebody walking from like the Gulu sector, and they were just walking like they walked like flip-flops, like all the way like 200 miles to the Uganda martyrs. They have it every like year around like the end of May. And so the culture is strong. People are very, very, very helpful. The opportunity is a lot because there's not so much competition. And so you can do things. People are open to new ideas. People are, you know, when they see you and appreciate you, they'll tell you. Very similar to Kenya. It's very similar here.
I like how people tell you, you are smart. Like you look good. Yeah, I love how people, and as a creative, I also really like Kampala because the creative community was smaller and therefore was easier to find. Yes. So people would just, oh, there's another weirdo. Hi. Like, let me talk to you. Yeah.
And it's very like, if you're a pro, some people don't like the fact that, I'm not trying to be racist or anything, Kenya has more whites. Nairobi has more whites. Facts. Some pro-blacks do not like, I'm in some of the extreme sectors. Yeah. They might not like that so much. A lot of pro-blacks that I've talked about the criticism, the reason why I don't like going to Kenya is too many white people. So some people may have an issue with that. And for me, it don't bother me, but some people don't. And some people would rather be in Uganda where they feel like it's more blacks. Nairobi has more Chinese, a lot more than in Uganda. I mean, in Kilimani, it's Chinese headquarters. So some people would not like that. And you're going to see a lot more, I would say, interracial relationships here. Some people may, you know, it's out in the open here. It happens in Uganda too, but you don't see it as much. Okay. Yeah, so it don't bother me. But I think that, you know, you have an opportunity to grow. In Uganda, if you can get something cracking, you got something for a long time. Okay. So you have a lot of, let's say, ownership of something there. You know what I mean? And if you get something going in Uganda, you got something going in Uganda. That's why I never moved. So if you got it, you got it. And you can really find people that you can bring into the business. People can change the way you do things. Like, I've had people in my business complain about they had a hard time finding editors in Kenya. Well, we've been able to just like find somebody who didn't know how to do something and become the top producer in that in a year. Wow. In Uganda. You know, there's one guy, he was a janitor in our office. And I didn't, you know, I don't run administration. Shout out to Jonita and Rachel. So I come in and he's now in the office. I'm like, well, what is this guy doing here? I'm trying to send him out for the meeting. Like, oh no, he's with us now. I said, is he? The guy had been walking all the way from Mutongo to Bugalobi, where our office is.
I don't even know where Mutongo is.
It's far. He walked every day for an opportunity just to learn. So they were giving him money out of their own salary just to support his effort. And so a person like that comes into the business who doesn't know anything. And then that person can design now, that person can edit, that person can treat sound, that person can do all of that within a year or two. And that's something that I found that in Uganda, you can create your own, what did you call it? Your own
lane.
Your own lane or your own you made it your own value chain. Something like that, right? Supply chain.
Yes.
And then somebody can come in and they can just learn it. And that person that knows nothing can just be, within the 2 years can be.
People are hungry for an opportunity.
And it's easy, and I think in a sector like Uganda, because that is not so popular there. But so people who want to be in it, they really want to be in it, and they do very, very well. So Kampala has its opportunities for sure. I love you guys. Don't get mad.
Yeah, each place has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You could be more of a builder in Uganda than I think a person that's more of a builder mentality wants to go through more to get more in the future.
You got to be a for real entrepreneur.
Yes.
I'm trying to get my stats right. Is it Uganda has the largest population
of entrepreneurs?
Is it entrepreneur women or just entrepreneurs?
Entrepreneur women and entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
in the
because
world.
you have to create your own opportunities.
Yeah.
From the informal sector, et cetera. Yeah.
And for an American, that may be difficult if you haven't done that before.
Right. Right. I've been an entrepreneur since, 2001. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's not for the weak. And I'm somebody that is really not interested in running the world. I like being in my little corner, doing my thing, maybe like a boutique agency, so I'm good there. But yeah, my cousin was asking me with this latest political situation in the U.S. He was like, so I guess you're not coming back. Like, listen,
with Trump,
we can compare. It's fun. We could talk about the pros and cons of different countries in Africa. But at the end of the day, I know I don't want to be back in the U.S.
Right. Me neither, in many ways. Sorry, Mom. I'm going to come see you, though.
Have you brought your mom?
No, she
not interested? Bring her.
She would be happier in Nairobi than in Kampala, I'm pretty sure.
Same. So my dad has come twice, and he's here to see me. He had never been to the continent before. And I was thinking, we'll get us a family compound at the coast. I can look after y'all as y'all get up in age, et cetera. And they was like, it's too slow.
Nairobi.
The coast.
The coast.
Kenyan coast. They said, if anything, we'd rather be in Nairobi.
Yeah.
So that might be an option for us. Bring your mom to Nairobi.
Yeah. Kampala, if I had respectfully, a wife, kids, things like that, it's easier for them to be here.
In Nairobi.
Yes, than in Kampala. Okay. So I'm looking at but if you're a business person, you're really good, you really know what you want to do, you're gonna have some dynamite opportunities. You're gonna don't look for parity, however. So I will warn you that in almost any place in Africa, but you're gonna have to force partnerships. You're gonna have to give a lot to prove yourself. And a lot of African Americans are gonna have a problem with, especially if it's local market stuff. You're going to prove yourself out of your ass, especially in Uganda. Kenya has more meritocracy.
My issue was money. I mean, that's been my issue, whether it's Kampala or it's Kenya. I didn't really know how to charge in Uganda or even in Kenya. I didn't know how to charge. I'm like, I know I can't charge what I normally charge in the States. And then if I give them a price, will they run away? So I did some bartering for my services in the States. Well, I like fashion. So it's give me product and then I can do X, Y, and Z for you. And then here in Kenya, I definitely saw an opportunity to do customer service training. That's one of the things in my wheelhouse. And because I had, it was horrible, just horrible. Where customer service in many parts of Africa is we just gonna make sure you don't steal. That's the customer service. We gonna stand 2 feet away and just watch you like a hawk. We're not gonna tell you about no products, nothing. So I found that people really wanted me to work for free.
In Kenya or Uganda?
In Kenya. At least in Uganda, they were just like, well, I don't have this, but I can have this. And for me, I also think about like legacy building. I don't have children. So part of me being here is like, all right, what can I give? How can I give back? So like on my fashion tours, I work with a lot of Kenyan brands. I'm bringing my client there. My client is spending money with you. I'm definitely not, I'm making sure that my client doesn't get taken advantage of, but I also want my vendor to win as well, right?
Right.
But yeah, it's been challenging to figure out like what to charge people when they want my services. That's why I make my money from the States. You know, and then like, I don't know if some people's perception of me is like I'm some sort of backpacker. And maybe I'll just be willing to work for, I don't know, like lodging or something like that. Because I had a sister reach out to me, East African sister, and she's like, you know, I work with women entrepreneur or women businesswomen. And they're looking to rebrand and and we want to bring you on board as a stylist. And I sent her my rate card and she essentially ghosted.
Right.
So I got some feedback and people were like, no, this woman has money. The people she works with has money. If anything, you should charge more.
Right.
So that's been my challenge. And as a result, I don't look for money here.
Right. That's the same problem that is in Uganda. Like people have money and don't want to. Again, that's why the private sector in Uganda is what it is. There's no incentivization, in my honest opinion. So people want what they want, but they don't like to incentivize others. And so that's why we're having a problem. Kenya, I mean, it's similar, but not as bad. But, you know, people will reach out and want something all the time, but they want to get their money. And then when it comes to, you know, like I said, I told you a story about this lingerie brand. When it comes to reaching out to you, they have no problem. They'll reach out to you and then expect you to do something for almost nothing. But when it's to them, they want their stuff. So they don't, like, again, there's a large disparity, not just with us, but even with Kenyans working with each other from what I've seen, Ugandans, there's a very big lack of trust, especially in Uganda. So when you step into that environment as an African-American, where you're coming from a private sector that is at least some level of trust, and you're working with people that don't really trust each other and don't really understand how to incentivize each other, it's very difficult because now you're not working on meritocracy. And Americans love meritocracy because in America, we believe you can come from some place that has less privilege. And if you are talented and work hard enough, you can rise. And typically there's a level of truth to it in comparison to somebody coming up here.
Okay.
So when you come and you work in Uganda, the meritocracy is non-existent. It's not there. It's there a little bit, but Kenya is better, but it's still not the States.
When you talk to other Ugandans about the business climate in Uganda, do they agree with you? Do they give you advice?
They agree with me so much so that they're going to Saudi Arabia like crazy. Many people, Dubai.
To get work.
I think that's the problem is just that people feel like, this is how I think a lot of Ugandan business sector looks at it. Even international brands. Okay, you may be good, but this other person will need the job at 500,000 Ugandan shillings a month.
Okay.
So why do I need to pay you? I could pay that person.
Right.
Because you know, 1 million jobs in Uganda have been lost since 2018 or 2019.
Women in jobs?
1 million jobs.
1 million.
The Daily Monitor put that up. So if you're a business owner in Uganda, you have leverage. So you don't really, somebody's talent doesn't really matter if 100 people want the job. They'll tell you somebody wants a job, which is true. And Ugandans, when they're negotiating their deals, they're afraid to tell somebody what they want. So how much do you want to get paid? 300,000. Now it costs 600,000 shillings a month for you to be you. So they're gonna so you know, and now that person at 300,000 shillings may be more reluctant to steal, maybe more of a could become stealing, you know, because that person can't support themselves.
Yeah, that's what happens. People will get their money on the back end.
So what happens is that person is also not incentivized to help the business grow.
We've seen that.
So then the business is at a standstill. And then Ugandan entrepreneurs, they don't just have one business, they have like 5 businesses. And I think it's similar here. Most of them are not running at a high quality.
And a lot of times the owner is not even on hand.
Yeah. So then the business is not, one business is hard enough to be good. Imagine having 5.
Right.
With employees that are getting paid the minimum. They're not going to, you're not giving your employee good work. So then when they experience the customer will feel that. Consumer, when they interact with your business. And you see it at restaurants. I don't want to call names. There's one in the mall, Acacia Mall, and you see a big turnover. You can go in.
Oh.
And it used to be better. You go in, you can sit there for like 30 minutes.
Okay.
Before they come to you. Big brand in Uganda.
I love that.
I do too.
They have good cookies.
I do too. So this is the environment that an American is not used to. And you step into that market and it's frustrating if you don't understand that level of climate. But I do feel if you're in Kenya, that market is better for you if you are good.
Okay.
You can be rewarded.
You would know better than me.
Uganda, you can't get rewarded for being good.
But I think that it's a great opportunity. Everything that we mentioned, I think, is a great opportunity for Africans in the diaspora to come and build that. But again, you have to have that entrepreneur mindset. I love to employ people at a livable wage, at more than they would make normally. Like all my service providers, I pay them more than they would normally get on the market.
Yes.
And then, you know, you see people who are opening up restaurants and they're paying people a livable wage. And then that was the other thing I kind of got off track. As part of my legacy, it's like, listen, your company doesn't want to pay me to train you, but this is your career. And if you want to, I can train you. So that when you leave this company, you can go somewhere else and do better, or you can start your own business. So that's an incentive for me as well.
Okay. So anything else?
I think we've covered it all.
This is like an 81-minute podcast. I thought you had somewhere to go. I guess it depended on
I do have somewhere to go.
She was trying to make me get on with the pod. I was talking too much. So thank you so much. This is a wonderful, Bill's 82 minutes. Probably be.
How can you tell it's 82 minutes?
The roadcaster here. It's probably going to be cut down.
You should just.
No. They'll watch it. Y'all ain't got nothing to do.
Just edit, chop.
No. So give it your social media platform.
Yes, you guys reach out to me on Instagram at Beauty is Universal UG. Also, I'm on YouTube at Beauty is Universal. The name of the podcast is Blacksit to Africa with the number 2. All about our experiences here and just growing, everything from how Nigeria helped me to appreciate Kenya to investing in Africa.
You went to Nigeria?
Yes, sir.
I did one time too. Okay, I like it though. So guys, subscribe, hit the bell. We out.